Hi, welcome to 7 Facts, the channel where you'll shortly find a video about every single country on Earth. In today's video, we're going to explore Wales, but keep in mind that there's a playlist containing all the British territories, so be sure to check that out too. Also, please remember to subscribe if you wish to see the 2 new videos I upload every Wednesday and Saturday. Wales, also known as Cymru, is one of the 4 countries that represent the United Kingdom. Unlike Scotland and Northern Ireland, which are relatively recent additions to the UK, Wales has not been a sovereign country since the year 1282. Back then, it was conquered by King Edward I of England, and since then, Wales has not been a politically independent entity. The Welsh Revolt of the 15th century was the last independence movement before the incorporation of the kingdom into England. Although today they are considered a peaceful, pastoral nation, the Welsh were notoriously hard to conquer and control, even by the Romans, who had to build countless fortifications in order to defend themselves. Today, Welsh people represent one of the few modern Celtic nations, along with the Bretons in France, the Cornish in Cornwall, the Scots, the Irish, and the Manx from the Isle of Man. Wales has one of the coolest and most interesting flags in all of Europe. It features the Dragon of Cadwaladr, a Welsh king from the 7th century, along with the green and white colors of the Tudor dynasty. The oldest known use of the dragon to represent Wales is from the Historia Brittonum, written around 830 AD. The text describes a struggle between 2 serpents deep underground, which prevents King Vortigern from building a stronghold. This story was later adapted into a prophecy made by the wizard Merlin, or Merlin, of a long fight between a red dragon and a white dragon. According to the prophecy, the white dragon representing the Saxons would at first dominate, but eventually the red dragon symbolizing the Britons would be victorious. The red dragon is popularly believed to have been the battle standard of the King Arthur. Most likely it was the Romans who brought the emblem to what is now Wales during their occupation of Britain in the form of the Draco standard borne by the Roman cavalry, itself inspired by the symbols of the Dacians in modern-day Romania. Except England, all the other countries that form the United Kingdom have their own language, and it's not English. Wales is no exception. The Welsh language is a Celtic language spoken natively not just here, but also in Argentina, of all places, in a small Welsh colony in the Chubut Province. The language is called Cymraeg by the native speakers, which in English is transposed as Cambrian. This language sounds incredibly complicated and it has an ancient feel to it, but it's not all alone. The closest relative to it is Breton, spoken in Brittany. If you're not familiar with Welsh, just remember that one of the longest and most difficult to pronounce town names in the world is in Wales. But I'll pronounce it anyway. Okay, here goes. Caernarfon, St Tysilio, go. Okay, that was not easy. This long name means St. Mary's Church in a hollow by the White Hazel, close to the rapid whirlpool near the Red Cave of St Tysilio. The capital and largest city of Wales is Cardiff. It has only been their capital since 1955, so that makes it one of the youngest capitals in Europe. Cardiff began as a Roman fort in 75 AD. Fort in Welsh is Car, and Tiff, or Taff, is the river which flows through the city. So essentially Cardiff means the fort of the Taff River. If you plan on visiting, just know that you'll be one of the 18 million tourists that come to Cardiff every year. And you'll have plenty to see. Cardiff claims to have the largest concentration of castles of any city in the world. Speaking of castles, it isn't just Cardiff that has such bold claims. The entire country boasts to have more castles per square kilometer than any other country. This is largely due to the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, the Welsh were extremely hard to conquer and control, and the terrain wasn't very suitable for large battles either. So any conqueror, be it the Romans, the Anglo-Saxons or the Normans, had to build many fortifications in order to expand and gain a foothold in this hostile territory. Probably the most impressive fortification is Caernarfon Castle, one of the largest English-built castles in Wales. Built in 1283 as the administrative centre of the now English-occupied North Wales, this castle has had defences on a grand scale. And to this day, it's in a surprisingly good shape. Legends, stories and myths echo all around the Welsh landscape. One of the most famous legends to appear in Welsh folklore is the story of King Arthur and his knights. Yep, Arthur was not English, he was Welsh. In fact, he was a leader in the fight against the invading Saxons that would eventually be known as the Anglo-Saxons, the ones that formed the English nation. Or was he? We don't actually have any proof that Arthur ever existed, only stories and myths. There are tales and poems in both Welsh and Breton folklore, dating back to before the 12th century. But it was Geoffrey of Monmouth's work from 1138 AD, History of the Kings of Britain, that popularized Arthur so much. Geoffrey depicted Arthur as a king of Britain who defeated the Saxons and established an empire over Britain, Ireland, Iceland, Norway, and even Gaul. Many elements and incidents that are now an integral part of the Arthurian story appear in Geoffrey's Historia, including Arthur's father, Uther Pendragon, the wizard Merlin, Arthur's wife, Guinevere, the sword Excalibur, his final battle against Mordred at Camlan, and the final resting place at Avalon. The 12th century French writer Chrétien de Troyes, who added Lancelot and the Holy Grail to the story, began the genre of Arthurian romance that became a significant strand of medieval literature. Whether he was real or not, his legend lives on to this day, fascinating generations upon generations. Tennis is today one of the most popular sports in the world, and it was invented in Wales. It was in the gardens of Nancloat Hall that Major Walter Wingfield invented modern tennis in 1873. He came up with the idea after playing with a new kind of ball, made from Indian rubber, which had been designed to bounce on grass. Similar games have been played throughout Europe since the 12th century, but Wingfield is credited with the modern version of the game that we know today. He popularized the game enormously by producing a box set which included the net, poles, rackets and balls, and he came up with the rules. Just 4 years after its invention, the world's first tennis tournament, the Wimbledon Championships, were first played in London. And there you have it. These were 7 facts about Wales. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts downstairs in the comment section, and afterwards check me out on Facebook and Twitter. A good way to offer more support to this channel is through Patreon. Link is in the description. I hope to see you next time. Bye.